There was always going to be a Renee Good because white men enslaved white women first.
They want you to shut up so it looks like a unified front. And they were loyal to their master for a very long time.
And the broke men slaves to the ruling class, ready to cuck at a moment's notice. That is the pyramid of white supremacy.
Ice and MAGA was comfortable in their position, face down, ass up.
We all know that red pill rage is going to come out the first time that you tell that man no. White supremacy promises them authority over your body.
Y'all need to access some fucking nape.
How many white women were lost to insane asylums because they wouldn't listen to their husbands? There are still laws on the books in the United States that give you guidelines on how and when to beat your wife. But if you're into other kind of books, Army field manuals are a great place to start. They didn't shoot her despite her being a white woman. They shot her because she was a white woman. Specifically because she was a white woman who wasn't towing a line. They see me as somebody to be conquered. They see you as someone who is already conquered. And I think deep down there is a certain fear. The fear that if my counterpart is saying that I am wrong, maybe I am wrong. And instead of facing that fear, they shut you up. You are the offspring of the Roman slave trade. Y'all the ones with access to their food and their throats when they sleep. You know awakening that beast would be detrimental because you are the largest slave class in America. Says you were always supposed to be part of the revolution. Some of y'all just not realizing it.
I really like how he put that all together about white men will pew white women because they don't want their counterpart calling them out or telling them that it's wrong. Because they often say that they use us as their moral compass and to help them be more loving and be more kind. And then we say, hey, they're like, and I have seen content creators on here talking about how shocked they were to see him shoot Renee Good because she was a white woman. I was not shocked at all, but I grew up around violent men. I think a lot of women have grown up around violent men, and so our whole nervous system is built on how to outsmart them, outpace them, outmove them. Like our body just knows where to move to be safe, to keep our kids safe, our mother's safe, our sister's safe. Like our body is just always on in that way. And I do understand that when we see police beating people up, it isn't very often you see them hurting a white woman, but we see it in our own homes. We experience it in our homes, most of us. So the rage I saw from Jonathan Ross, the rage I saw from the guy that says, haven't you learned? And she said, what's the lesson here? And then he grabbed her camera. Yeah. That's welcome to the world of white women and women in general. But I think because other people don't see how white men are in the home, maybe this is a little surprising and maybe white women don't talk about it enough. Because when you are raised in the patriarchy and you carry all that misogyny, like lots of times we don't want to tell what our partners do to us or our fathers or uncle. And there's a lot of shame around that, especially if you've grown up in cults. I mean, when that officer said, haven't you learned anything? And she said, what am I supposed to learn? And he lunged at her. All I saw was my brother. All I saw was my brother. He's very big. He looks like Joe Rogan. He's just big. And one time my mom and I were sitting in this little living room and he was sitting in there with us. And he turned to us and I don't remember why, but he like his teeth gritting said, women have no idea how hard it is to not hit their wives and their children. My eyes got very big. I looked at my mom, she looked at me, and I'm like, it feels like you want to hit a woman right now. So I got up and I walked out because when he gets like that, I can't be around it. So then I was in the kitchen cooking and he came in and he's the trainer type, workout guy, whatever. And he started talking about some diet or whatever. And I said, oh, well, I do it this way because my daughter's diabetic. And, well, that doesn't work for me. And I said, well, maybe if you tried this, it would work. And the fact that I was challenging him on his expertise, he jumped and lunged over the counter. So I knew that man well, that officer, because they've been in my home my whole life. And I immediately left, and a friend gave me a ticket and flew me up to Vegas so I could regain a new game plan because he was going to be staying where I had been staying, so I had to go someplace else. And I do feel like women don't want, and this could be all women, but we don't want to tell on our partner because we feel bad for them. Like when you're trained in the cult and in the patriarchy and to be a pick-me, like you always feel bad for the fact that they had that pain. Even if it was their own pain and they caused it, you still are the one that helps them feel better. So now that they're out doing what they're doing, if there's a possibility this woman that he basically has trained to take care of him no matter what starts saying, this isn't okay, he cannot hear that. That is so dangerous to his psyche that you would be in danger. But not for 1 second was I shocked that he shot her. I mean, it's shocking to see anybody shot in the head like that, but especially when he went the fucking bitch, like, oh yeah, I know it well. Many of us know it well. But then I've also seen different content creators talk about how brave white women seem, because they're like, when I see an angry white man like that, like I feel paralyzed, whereas white women will go right at them. And again, that's because that's the world we live in. That's how our nervous system was developed, was dealing with these apex predators, essentially. Some are nice, a lot aren't. And you got to be prepared for all of them. But the other reason that we will charge at them or try and stop them is because we also know how scared they are, how big of weenies they are, how we really do all the tough work. And we see the constant crash outs, mental breakdowns, the crying, the temper tantrums, when things don't go their way, or why no one likes them, or why they don't feel respected, or I swear they got more stuff going on than women. So the public doesn't see white men out there crying, breaking down, threatening to hurt themselves, all the drugs. Like, I think that world just doesn't, the outside world just doesn't see that, and we do. So we may see a predator, but we also see a little boy who has never been able to grow up, sort himself out, and he's just like put on his dad's big clothes, and he's out there just playing a character that he isn't really. Because the alpha thing is just a facade. And trying to be like his dad or be macho, also a facade. But they don't know their authentic self, and they're very terrified of people like women who invite them to look into it. And that terrifies these kind of men. They don't feel they have the agency to do that. So they take it out on women and anybody else that challenges that. And I've always known that white women were they're the linchpin in this. When the white women wake up and they start realizing what they need to do, we can shut this down. And in my comments, I've seen several white women say, I've never owned a pew-pew. I have one now. I just bought 2 pew-pews. I'm getting trained on pew-pews. I never thought I'd buy a pew-pew. So there's a different tone on the left. The left is starting to rise. The right is going staunch like this. It's just like doubling down. Doesn't have anywhere to go because it's as far right as it can go. So it's, yes, ice. And then the rest are like melted away, and they're kind of in here. And we're kind of like scooping them up here in a wave. I want to do a diagram on it, but I need colors. So there is motion on these sides, but not really from the right, because if they're stuck, they're stuck, and the rest are kind of just melting off and then going into the ocean in between that's doing this. And then it's turning into a wave on the left, because the left is actually in motion and sounds different. It sounds like it has power, has motion. They don't. So it's just going to leak into the ocean, and then you have a thin shard of ice here, ice, and that's how it's going to go. And then this will have leaked into here, and then you're going to get a tsunami. Hello, midterms. So yeah, white women, get your pew-pews, get whatever you need to defend yourself and other people, and be ready to go at the men that you know best.